Hey students, how you doing? Wanted to take a few minutes to talk about our first major essay, our defining moment personal narrative essay. So you've hopefully read through the prompt and now you're watching the video here down at the bottom of the assignment. And I just wanted to, take a few minutes to really um, get into a little bit of these details about how we go about writing an essay like this that is so story based, and also what we want to really make sure to consider when we're narrowing down and choosing our topic, the story we really want to share. So, first of all, let's start there. A singular experience, a defining moment, one experience, not an entire year or 2 years of your life or something along those lines. Of course, there's periods of time that could be really important to us or really definitive for us. If that's the case, what you've got to do is find a moment in that time period that represents, that's where that light bulb went off and you realized that this had been an important time period. Okay. Then all of that other information that's part of that time period, that can be part of your background and part of your story, and you can pull it in smaller little brief narratives to help build that support for your audience and for your story. But that defining moment, that singular experience, is when this thing happened. And maybe that thing that happened was that you had this realization. You had this aha, oh my gosh, I can't believe I've been doing this way this whole time. Or this is amazing. All of this over this course of this last year has been leading up to this, and this is fantastic. Whatever it might be. Okay, so you've really got to focus in on that. And that is your core story. That moment, that experience. You build the rest of your story and your essay around that core story. Okay? So really be careful. Try not to don't choose some kind of event that took place over lots of periods of time. Okay? Additionally, as we can start to really write this essay, you want to make sure that you don't fall into the 5-paragraph essay pattern that perhaps many of you are very comfortable and familiar with. We're at college level writing. That 5-paragraph essay was a great foundation and a great starting point for writing. The logic that's there is great. Tell your reader what you want to tell them about, and then tell them about it, and then close it up and remind them of what you told them. That structure is great, but we've got to expand it now. 5 paragraphs isn't going to cut it. And as you progress through college, it's definitely not. If you really think about that, it makes sense. We don't interact with 5-paragraph essays in the real world, in the workplace, in magazines or articles or whatever else we might be reading. Instead, the logic of that is there. And so it's time to develop it further. So maybe your introduction is no longer just a paragraph. It's multiple paragraphs. It's an introductory section. Could be 2, 3, 4 paragraphs. On larger projects, it could be 10 pages. That's your introduction section, right? So we've got to start thinking about expanding, because we've got to provide more detail. We've got to provide more analysis. We have got to work to connect our audience, okay? So we've decided our content on our defining moment, our exceptional singular experience, and then we're going to work to create and analyze that situation to tell a story and to make it important to other people, right? Why is this experience that happened to you an important and interesting story to share with others, people that you don't know, people that don't know you? You've got to think about your audience in those ways. All right? Now that you've read through this prompt and you have watched this video, there's a couple questions below to answer. Just to make sure you are understanding, you can ask any clarifying questions, and let me know that you're understanding this prompt initially as we get started. Talk to you guys soon.